Hey everybody, Hugh here. Welcome back. Well look, this is a Patrick's Day update on what's going on here. When I say here, we're talking about the grow tunnel that we have. This is one that we invested in about this time last year. Lucky with the timing, very fortunate, because the grow tunnel itself, price-wise now, has gone up about 20%. What with the energy and the war and all sorts of things. So, and my goodness, how we made the most of it here. So I want to do a tour primarily for myself first of all, but I also want to share with you if you are interested, because it is a real treasure trove of what's going on here. The last video we watched was the courtyard. You can see we began to clean it. We still haven't reassembled it, and this is a week later because the weather just hasn't been good when we've been able to get out. So if I want a hit, or if Judith wants a hit of the sort of the nice side of things, we come into the grow house here, or into one of the other two places that we have undercover. But this is the prime spot, and lots of goodies and treats. Some vegetables, some food-based stuff, but primarily it's all about the flowers. It's all about the flowers, as you can see at the minute. It's very colourful indeed for what is a top of the morning to yes, Patrick's Day update. Anyway, come on, we'll have a look. Come on, we'll have a look. So yeah, you have your pansies or violas, very much purchased recently enough. Went to get a pack of these, and on the Bellis ones that I was doing on the copper bowl update, that was 2 packs, and I think it was 3 for €10. So it was like, actually, or they were $4.99 or $3.99 each. So we got the 3, we got €10 worth, and what a treat. We'll of course pot them up, but even if nothing else happens, one of the first sights when you walk in this side of the grow tunnel, just to see that impact of flowers is so good for the eyes, isn't it? A little scilla or allium has come into flower, very dainty. It's one of the favorites here. If you ask Ms. Jew, she will say that's really surprised her on how dainty it is. The crocus that have been flowering for the past month, again, they're about €2-3 each for them. We've had the white, we've had the blue. They're beginning to go over, but they're such great early impact colour. And you can see these little narcissi daffodils. Again, it's only a couple of bulbs crammed in a pot. Is there a price on it there? No, there's not. But again, it's a couple of euros. They're less than the price of a coffee, or if it's a coffee and a sort of cake, you'd get the 3 of those there. And you can see there's lovely flower buds coming on. And of course, we'll either plant them into pots here, or we'll bring them out to the potager out at the allotments, or we'll give them away for people to plant oh so much, you know, for next year. We'll give them a bit of care, and then next year. Look at that. $2.95, sunshine in a flower, a little ranunculus, and isn't it gorgeous? Related to the buttercup, and it's a bulb that you plant, but this one of course has been brought on. We bought it, and it's such a lovely shade. We were doing some volunteer work in that local garden shop that we do, and that was one of the purchases that we actually made there. Isn't that super? Isn't that super? So you can see we've invested a few euros in a little bit of colour, and look at that. Look at that. For this time of year, where would you buy it? You'd have to be spending hundreds of euros to go abroad to get a bit of colour like that if we didn't have it here. Now, Patrick's Day, for the day that's in it, look what was picked up. It's like a little bit of shamrock or a little bit of clover or whatever you're having yourself. Very Irish there, and the packaging gave us a bit of a giggle. Again, a couple of euros. They are actually oxalis, which is of the clover family, so I'm not quite sure what they'll turn into, but we'll keep them in pots, maybe bring them on and see. But at the moment it's like, happy St. Patrick's Day everyone. The hyacinths that I would have been waxing lyrical about last month have gone over. These two, the flowers have been dead-headed on them at this point now, so I'll move those maybe towards the back here. But again, we've had some nice value for them. They were bought in smaller pots, and then we put them into the bigger pots to give the bulbs a chance for next year. A couple of liquid feeds now as well, a little bit of tomato food. Happy days. What do you think of that? Dicentra spectabilis, and isn't it spectacular? It's an early flowering herbaceous. This is one that was purchased last autumn time. Anytime I ever buy these and try to keep them in pots, they never do for me. And when Hugh was going like, oh, I'm going to get that, I was like, ah, it won't survive, never survives for me. And there you go, the little bit of heat in the tunnel, or maybe it's a little bit of her magic, has brought it back into flower. And what a stunner it is. What a stunner it is. What a stunner. So again, adding just to that colourful table there on top. So that's the main sort of impact of colour there, and you could spend quite some time just pottering about, sort of deadheading and taking out any weeds and checking for slugs, you know. There is a red beetroot, that's year number 3. That's a variety that it's a non-variety. It was a variety I thought somebody had given me, McGregor's. It's not McGregor's, what's the name of it? Anyway, I'd have to look up over my old videos now. It was one of the more unusual ones as a red, but apparently it's not a pure one. But anyway, I'm keeping it just for the foliage. Year number 3, maybe it'll produce some seed, we'll see. Lovely foliage to it. And then of course the Senecio, that was my Christmas bargain. I whipped that one up. It was €2 down from 12, and just a lovely purchase there. One of the vine weevil pulmoniums, the variegated ones, vine weevil attacked it as it does every year in the autumn, but I whipped it out and repotted it, washed the roots off, repotted, and there you go. It's going to come back nicely. It's the great thing about those guys. And this is a little hooker, and that was a bargain at €3. And again, it's growing back very nicely, because some of our own here got hammered, absolutely hammered with vine weevil. There's some garlic growing on, and I know they should be outside experiencing a bit of cold, but the bit of greenery is just lovely. These were full cloves that have been planted, and these were the single cloves. We don't use that much garlic, to be honest, but just to make an effort with some of it. So it'll be interesting to see the difference in size. A little bit of an experiment to see what's going to happen. They will be either put into the potager in the allotment or grown in bigger pots here. Haven't quite decided yet. Some of our chilies, sorry, our sweet peppers, no sign of the seed yet. Not surprised. This time last year they were young plants, but because we still have plenty in the freezer of fruits that we grew, I said we'd do them more as cold plants this year, from seed. So we'll see what comes of it. Broad beans, broad bean city. We'll see what comes of these. Some of them are our own seed. These first 3 are our own seed, and then these ones are from the packet. So we'll see what comes. My brother was asking me if we have a few left or spare, can we send some over to him for his allotment, please? So some will be on the way. And you can see this one had a little cover, just to see would it make any difference. And there's life, Jim, but not as we know it. You can see a little shoot coming up there. So it's time to take the cover off that one. This one, there's a little bit of mold, which is not good, which means that seedling is affected. And the ones that weren't covered, of the 6 that weren't covered, 2 have come up there. So it's like, from the one that was covered we have 1, and from the other 2, from the one that was uncovered we have 2. It's like, So we'll see. And the purchased ones, there's no sign of anything at the moment. So we'll just wait and see. There's those onion sets that we did. They're all coming along very nicely. It is lovely. There is our gazebo for when we're doing our craft outings, and they're always a little bit of fun. Seed potatoes sprouting. You can see I have them under the shelf there to because it was very cold, so just to give them a little bit of protection. And those earlier shooted potatoes that we were talking about, it's in January now at this point, you can see they're coming through already. They're loving the little bit of heat and the fact that they're under a shelf as well. Dixonia, again, giving a little bit of extra colour there. It's at a nice stage. I haven't removed any of the foliage from it, the bracken or foliage, because it is still, you know, cold, so being protected, and then we'll harden them off. Another Senecio and a few geraniums. I don't know if they'll make it. That's our not sure if they'll make it section. The Senecio, I think it will, but we'll cut it back and put it on. But there's a few bits there. It's like, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, the lovely palm there. I was going to say it's Choicia ternata, but it's not. The name escapes me at the moment, and that's okay. Again, it just provides a little bit of greenery that's normally in the courtyard. And the winter jasmine got hit pretty badly. You can see the burnt tips of it there, with the December frost actually. Even though it was undercover, there was lovely flower buds forming, but it got hit with the December frost, and it was like a bit of a disaster. Brought in the acers because they're just beginning to shoot. You can see it there, just with all this frosty weather. So and the new foliage of acers are just, they're like flowers, aren't they? They're pretty amazing. They really are. They really are. So a little bit protective of those. And you'll see why when the foliage comes out. And then at this lower level, these are the later flowering bulbs that I did in December, or I should say that we did in December. You can see there's tulips. I crowded the pots, give a nice impact there. There's tulips galore coming up, so they're going to be lovely. Some of them were attacked by rodent friends, but which has since been dispatched. Some more heuchera, and these are ones that were attacked by vine weevil. So we washed them off, repotted, and they're making lovely plants now at this stage. So that's pretty cool. There is a bellis, the red bellis that we were talking about in one of the last videos, where we used the pink ones for the bowl. Judith was like, I've got a good idea. Let's put them into this terracotta, what do you call it, window box that you have. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. So it's like, yeah, that's a great idea she had. But it looks very well. And there's the pink, again undercover, coming along very beautifully. Again, these are for outside. They are going to be hardened off, but we'll wait until this very cold spell actually passes. From a plant care point of view, the tunnel itself does insulate down at night. We haven't used fleece in here, haven't felt the need to use fleece, but we close the doors, and because it's polycarbonate, it's sort of like a double layer protection. And you can see then during the days, on the milder days, and even the just less cold days, the top door gets open to let some air flow through, so the plants aren't completely soft. Anyway, back to here. They are some paper white narcissus that have finished flowering. So same thing again. We'll deadhead those, and we're going to liquid feed. We'll move them to the sort of back of the display, but I wanted to leave them out there. They are, even still, there's some beauty with them, isn't there, at this stage, going over. But liquid feeding to encourage the bulbs to build up for next year's flowering, and is always useful. And then one of our other little acers, again, look at that. Just look at the foliage, golden foliage coming on it. For future purposes, when I'm thinking, what's the name? Katsura. There you go, Hugh. For future Hugh and future Jew, when you're looking at the videos going, what's that acer called? Acer palmatum katsura. And look at that beautiful, beautiful foliage. Of course, it does need to be potted on. We'll use a primarily soil-based compost with some added extras. And the lovely hyacinths. These are the ones from bulbs just beginning to open, lending a beautiful scent. The ones that we had last month, or was it 6 weeks ago now at this stage, they are ones that we bought that had been forced to flower. The Azara microphylla, again, not very hardy, so when the December weather came, you never saw two people run out so quickly and bring plants in under cover. And this was one of them, and it's saying thank you very much. Can you see the flowers on it? Beautiful foliage, again in a pot, so it always is restrictive on these shrubby plants. They won't actually grow large, but it is important to keep them ticking along. Some of our palms for the Mediterranean effect in the courtyard later in the summer, again just under cover. They do need to be pot on. I think they're in 5-litre pots, so we'll have to see what we're doing about getting 6 or 7. And of course hebes along by the sea. Hebes are very hardy, well, primarily hardy, as are the cordylines, the various cordylines, but where we are, they can get hit. And some more bulb pots. This is one of my favourites, Fritillaria. the yellow imperials, and these are bulbs that I have in pots, and every year I repot them into compost. I get various people telling me, yeah, you can't grow them like that, they have to be so much distance apart. But if you look through some of my older videos, my how-to, you'll see this is how I treat them. And they always provide this beautiful early colour in March. Absolutely stunning. And they have what I consider is a beautiful fritillaria smell. Although I know not everyone around here enjoys the scent of them, I just think it just smells like spring, if that makes sense to me. Not something I'd want to have in my bedside locker, but for the purposes of what we're doing here and having them in here, my walkthrough, not only is the senses for the eyes such a treat, and then of course you have the bird song and so on, but you have then the scent of the flowers, which is super too, and some more palms and hebes, and then there's a little diacia bowl and a little what you call it, Dimorphotheca I was going to call it, but one of the daisy bowls, and then the penstemon bowl as well. Again, some cutting back and some tidying up to do, but plenty of time yet. One of our non-successes, the Poroprosma. We bought that, one of our winter lots during the what was it, €3, and there's only a little bit of foliage surviving on it. It's like, it was a chance. It was a chance, because they really just don't like that. They got hammered in the frosts. And then these are Ju's her hanging pots for around the courtyard, but we're enjoying them in here at the moment, giving a lovely display there as they're coming on. So yeah, they're just lovely, aren't they? So you can see the overall picture. You can spend, now this is one of our longer ones, and that's fine. And thanks to the guys over in Clive's Conundrums, check them out, Clive's Conundrum Gardens. They're always encouraging, going, Hugh, we love your longer videos. So thanks guys, Jason and Colleen over there, for the encouragement. Always nice, but really he needs that time, and this would be typical if I'm having time out here and I just want to potter, monitor how things are going. This is what I'm actually looking at. Thanks as always for stopping by. Do of course remember to like, subscribe and leave a comment, and of course there's plenty in my back catalogue too for checking out. All sorts of weird and wonderful of Horty Hugh and Co. and the continuous adventures, the horticultural adventures. Anyway, have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day and St. Patrick's weekend. Look after yourselves there. God bless. Bye bye.